In our Law and Justice lead, tomorrow, testimony resumes in Trump's hush money cover-up trial in Manhattan. 9:30 a.m. exactly, Eastern Time. Expected to return to the stand is Keith Davidson. He is the attorney who represented both 1998 Playboy Playmate of the Year Karen McDougal, who alleged an affair of some months with Donald Trump, as well as adult film actress and director Stormy Daniels, who alleged a brief dalliance with Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump denies both of those allegations. Joining us now to discuss, trial attorney Misty Maris, Manhattan criminal defense attorney Stacey Schneider. Misty, tomorrow or early next week, we could see Michael Cohen take the stand. Keith Davidson has not been painting the most positive picture of his interactions with Mr. Cohen. One example is with Keith Davidson. He's trying to do a deal here for Karen McDougal. He says, quote, that Gina Rodriguez, that's Stormy Daniels' manager, calls Davidson and says, some jerk called me and was very, very aggressive and threatened to sue me, and I would like you, Keith, to call this jerk back. And who was that jerk? Steinglass asked. Michael Cohen, Davidson said. So how is this going to impact the jury, do you think, when they listen to Cohen's testimony, which is expected to be any day now?
Who was that jerk? Nobody wants to hear that. But look, there's a strategy here for the prosecution to put people like Keith Davidson and these other foundational witnesses on before Michael Cohen. And the reason is because Michael Cohen's going to have credibility issues. The fact that he is hectic, the fact that everything's always an emergency, he called him pants on fire. You know, that is really not going to be the thing that moves the needle. What's going to be impactful to the jury is what in Michael Cohen's testimony is corroborated by these other potentially more likable and credible witnesses. So I would expect a lot of what we're hearing with Keith Davidson, where he's super professional, he's very lawyerly, going to be mirrored in some of what comes out of Michael Cohen's testimony for the purpose of corroborating those facts.
Stacey, tomorrow will be day 6 of testimony for the prosecution's witnesses. We still haven't heard from many of the expected bombshell witnesses, such as Michael Cohen, of course, Stormy Daniels, Kellyanne Conway, Hope Hicks, Karen McDougal. Misty just mentioned the strategy for Cohen. What's the strategy for others when they go on the stand?
I think the prosecution here is telling the story in order. They started with the background, David Pecker, and all of the alleged catch and kill schemes before the election to benefit Trump's prospects. Then they get to Keith Davidson, yesterday, and they put him on to show that when David Pecker did not want to go forward and deal with the whole Stormy Daniels story and purchasing it, that he turned it over to Michael Cohen to do that. It's sort of the next order in the story. So tomorrow we're going to have the cross-examination of Keith Davidson, Stormy Daniels' attorney, who brokered the alleged deal with Michael Cohen to buy the story. And you'll see the defense, Trump, because they're going to be up tomorrow, having to deal with what already is out in court. That is, again, tying Trump to all this was done allegedly to help his election prospect chances. So what they're going to do tomorrow is make mincemeat out of Michael Cohen once again. So capitalize on that he was called a jerk, that he was abrupt, that he's abrasive, that nobody at the National Enquirer wanted to deal with him. And they're going to play that up because it's part of the narrative that this is Michael Cohen's BS story. You can't trust him. And the only story is what Donald Trump's lawyer said in opening statements, which is the theme of their defense, is this isn't about the election. This is about Donald Trump fighting back and protecting his family, his image, and his reputation. And that's their whole defense. They put it out there. The prosecution's case is this isn't anything personal. This is all about the election. And Donald Trump is governed by election law, and he allegedly broke that law. So that's what they're going to do tomorrow, just poke holes until they get to the bigger witnesses.
So, Misty, tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern sharp, so it's about 21 hours from now, Trump faces yet another hearing for violating the gag order. Prosecutors have alleged Trump broke it an additional 4 times. Yesterday, as you know, Trump was fined $9,000 for violating it 9 times previously. Here are the 4 moments prosecutors are going to be discussing in tomorrow's hearing on whether he violated the gag order.
And when are they going to look at all the lies that Cohen did in the last trial. He got caught lying in the last trial. So he got caught lying, pure lying.
That jury was picked so fast. 95% Democrats. The area is mostly all Democrat. You think of it as just a purely Democrat area. It's a very unfair situation, that I can tell you.
Michael Cohen is a convicted liar, and he's got no credibility whatsoever. He was a lawyer, and you rely on your lawyers. David's been very nice. He's a nice guy.
Trump referring there to David Pecker, who was the first witness on the stand. How do you think the judge is going to rule on these?
Violation times at least 3. Maybe the one about David Pecker he'll let slide. But look, it's very clear. Yeah, witnesses and the jury are off limits. So I think we're going to see another fine. But the judge has said if this continues with willful violations, we could see incarceration. So I think we're going to see a few violations tomorrow, Jake.
Stacey, you think that's a real risk, incarceration?
I mean, not really. I think the Judge Marchand had to say that to Donald Trump because it's over and over and over again. But the interesting thing to note is the prosecution in the original hearing about his violating the gag order did not ask for jail time. They wanted the fine punishment, which everybody knows, what's $9,000 to Donald Trump? It's worth its weight in gold in publicity alone. So I think we'll see more of threats. And, eventually it's going to have to be so egregious for Donald Trump to go to jail over violations.
All right, Misty Maris, Stacey Schneider, thanks to both of you. And as the New York hush money cover-up trial resumes, you can join me for special coverage in the morning starting at 9:30 Eastern right here on CNN. That's tomorrow.